Hey guys, what's going on? Going to take a quick look here at Reserve. Ticker for this is RSR, and this one is a request. Now, this is a good time for me to mention that if you also have a request, if you have a coin you want me to look at and get to pretty much right away, I'll include a link to my website that explains exactly how to do that. Also, if you want a place to trade Reserve or pretty much any of the other coins I talk about on this channel, I'll put a link to 3 different exchanges in the pinned comment and description. And through those links, each one of them is going to activate a sign-up bonus for you. Now, unfortunately, with Bitget and BingX, they're currently requiring KYC. But if you don't want to submit any personal information and have that essentially tied to your wallet addresses, you can come to this one right here. It's called BloFin. So I'll link this one at the top, and as of right now, they're one of the only exchanges that are not requiring KYC. All right, so let's get into this chart. As I mentioned, I'm on a weekly time frame, and this reserve chart is actually quite basic. Essentially, the majority of it is just a long-term falling wedge, which we recently broke out of. Now, in the last video I did on this coin about a couple weeks ago, I pointed out the importance of these 2 lines. Okay, now the first one, if you want to replicate this on your chart, actually I recommend you do so. Just take a horizontal ray or horizontal trend line, whatever you prefer, and just come here, zoom in, again weekly time frame, and just paste it right at the low of these candle bodies right here. So as for why this level is significant, well, it was support right here. When we broke below it, it was resistance. And all throughout here, it served as a level of support. Now the second line, to draw that, just identify the top of these candle bodies right here and just paste it, okay? So this level was resistance right here, resistance right here. It was the level where the price traded down to, and a lot of buyers obviously stepped in at this level as indicated by these long wicks just bouncing right off of it, okay? So these are the 2 primary support regions, but if you look at what's happening right now, this candle, this weekly candle has penetrated it. So obviously a sign of weakness, because every other time we've come down to this level right here, it got bought up immediately. But right now, not only have we penetrated it with the wick here, but the body is currently below it. All right, so this is a very bad sign. However, this candle closes later this evening. So as I'm making this video, it's currently a little after 3 p.m. Eastern time, and this candle closes at 8. So we have just under 5 hours to essentially defend this level, okay? So pay close attention to how this closes this evening. And ideally what you want to see is the candle body close up above this top line. If the candle body is able to salvage the lower line, it's obviously way better than where we are right now. But in that case, this upper line is going to be the new resistance, right? So if we're able to defend it, close the candle body above here, then you don't have to worry about either of these current support lines being flipped to a resistance. If it closes below 1, this one's going to be the resistance. If it closes below both, guys, that's a major sign of weakness, okay? That would be pretty bad. In fact, if it closes below both, I would think that the coming weeks are going to be quite bearish. And the next level of support down that I would look to would probably be the top of these candle bodies right here at around 0.003258, right? So I'll just mark that since I'm talking about it. And it's interesting because it actually lines up with the low right here where this wick came down to. All right, so once again, if the candle body were to close in its current state, I think a trip down here is highly probable. All right, now there's a couple things I want to do. I'm going to take a fib. I want to see where we are right now relative to the start of this move. So take that, run it from the low up to the high. And all right, so you see the nearest fib retracement is right here at the 618, and we're currently above it. So with this being the weekly candle, I actually want to take it down a time frame to see how the price responded to the 618. So let's take a look at that. Let's go back down to the daily. All right, look at that. Okay, so this is obviously a valid level that people are trying to defend, as indicated by the closure of this candle right here. So you see we traded well below it, but by the time the candle closed, buyers stepped in, bought it all up, and the candle body closed above the 618, thus salvaging this level as the current support. Okay, and this is exactly what I'm hoping is going to happen here on the weekly time frame. Look at the structure of this candle. That's essentially what we want to see here. We want all this to get bought up in the next few hours, so this just ends up being a long wick with a small candle body right above this support level. Okay, so the fact that the price is responding the way it is off the 618 is a positive sign. I just hope the market makers are going to step in and just kind of protect the entire market right now, because RSR is not the only coin that currently looks like this. There are a lot of altcoins that look like they're hanging from a thread. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. And we've established this is at the 618. Another thing I want to do, this looks like a ABC correction right here. So I'm going to take a different fib. I'm going to take the trend-based fib extension. And out of curiosity, I'm going to run it from the top down to the swing low here, drag it back up to the second peak. And let's see where that brings us. Okay, that brings us right down here, once again, to another fib support. So it makes sense that this could be the local bottom. I just want to see this weekly level being defended, okay? All right, now zooming back out, staying on the weekly time frame, let's say that theoretically we're able to defend this level. All is well, bull market's still on. Let's look at what are the projected upside targets. Okay, so the way to do that, obviously what you want to prioritize the most is just levels based on the previous price action. So for example, right around here where we have the support that got flipped to a resistance multiple times here, that's clearly going to be a major level that you would expect to act as a resistance. So put it right around there. Good to make note of. You see how I already have these two levels marked? The way I got that is I essentially just ran a Fibonacci from the swing high, from the all-time high up here, dragged it all the way down to the low, and that gives me these extensions. So the 618 is right here at slightly over 2 cents, so 0.023004, and that aligns pretty much with the wick right here. So to mark this region, because we have the resistance base on the top of these candle bodies, and then slightly above that we have the 618 Fibonacci retracement, which aligns with the wicks. Normally what I would do in this situation is I would draw it out as a range. So just take a rectangle shape tool and just mark it like that. Okay, so I know if the price comes up here anywhere within this box, that's likely going to be a region where people are going to enter short positions, or they're going to take profits from the buys that they did down in this range. Okay, next level beyond that I would look to is going to be up here at around the 786 Fibonacci retracement level. And this coincidentally lines up pretty much perfectly with this previous high right here. So for this, I'm actually going to do the same thing. Take the rectangle shape tool, I'll initiate it at the Fibonacci extension, and then I'll just draw it up to the top of these candle bodies right here. So start of the 786 up to the top of the candle body closes up here, and that gives me the next take profit region, or the region where if you're not in the market, maybe you want to consider entering a counter trend short, right? But if you're doing that, you have to implement proper stop losses so you're not risking too much, which is particularly important if you're trading against the trend. All right, so I'm going to get rid of the fib, and I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to mention, okay? So just to recap, watch this level. What you want to see is the candle body closing above the previous support. That way you don't have to contend with it being a resistance, and if we're able to pull that off, then these two are the upside targets that I would expect in the coming months. If the candle body closed in its current state, then I would anticipate the price to come all the way down here and then test this former resistance level as a support. And it's interesting to note that we have not done a back test on this broken resistance yet, right? So a lot of the times when the price breaks through a resistance level, it'll act as kind of like a magnet, pull the price back, and then you get your resistance to support flip down here, and then it'll push off that to higher targets, right? But yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, smash the like button. That kind of helps the algorithm. And if you want a place to trade this or any of the other coins I talk about, check out the links to the exchanges in the pinned comment and the description. And signing up through those links is going to activate sign-up bonuses on pretty much all of them. If you don't want to do KYC, then BloFin, the one linked at the top, is probably the one you want to go through. If you don't care and you just want to go with what the biggest bonuses are, then you can check out the other two. All right, guys, take care. Have a good day. Bye.